Look at somebody next to you and tell them, my life won't change unless I do. I need you to hear me today, not your past, not your pain, not your excuses. Because some of you have been praying for change while protecting the very habits that keep you stuck. You want a new season, but you're still wearing old clothes. You want elevation, but you're still thinking on the same level. You want God to move, but God is waiting on you. Touch your chest and say it out loud. It starts with me. Let me tell you something. Change is not a miracle that falls on you. Change is a decision you rise into. You've been asking, when will my life get better? But the real question is, when will I get better? Because your environment didn't ruin you. Your mindset limited you. Your enemies didn't stop you. Your comfort slowed you down. And today, I didn't come to entertain you. I came to interrupt you. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting. But if you change, your life has no choice but to follow. Somebody shout, I'm ready to change. Awareness comes before transformation, because nothing in your life can change until you are brave enough to see it clearly. Most people are not trapped by their circumstances. They are trapped by what they refuse to acknowledge. You can shout, pray, cry, and hope all you want, but if you keep avoiding the truth about where you are, you will stay exactly where you are. Awareness is the moment the lights come on. It is the moment you stop blaming the darkness and realize you have been living with your eyes closed. And that moment can be uncomfortable because awareness doesn't flatter you. It confronts you. The hardest thing you will ever face is not your enemy, not your past, not your struggle. It is yourself. It is standing in the mirror and admitting that some of the pain you are carrying was produced by the choices you made, the patterns you repeated, and the fear you allowed to control you. That admission doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful. Because the moment you recognize your role, you regain your authority. What you did not create, you cannot control. But what you acknowledge, you can change. Many people want deliverance without discovery. They want freedom without self-examination. They want God to fix what they refuse to face. But transformation demands honesty. You cannot heal what you keep hiding. You cannot move forward while pretending nothing is wrong. Awareness strips away excuses. It removes the comfort of denial and replaces it with clarity. And clarity, even when it hurts, is a gift, because confusion keeps you stuck, but clarity gives you direction. There are cycles in your life that did not start yesterday. Patterns that keep showing up in different seasons, different relationships, different jobs, different opportunities. And until you become aware of the pattern, you will keep calling it bad luck. You will keep calling it an attack. You will keep calling it betrayal. But awareness teaches you to ask a different question. Not, why does this keep happening to me? But why do I keep responding the same way? That question is the doorway to change. Awareness also forces you to slow down and listen to your own life. Your emotions are speaking. Your frustration is speaking. Your exhaustion is speaking. Your repeated disappointments are speaking. They are not there to punish you. They are there to inform you. But if you stay distracted, busy, and defensive, you will miss the message. And what you don't learn from, you will repeat. When awareness enters the room, responsibility follows. And responsibility is not about shame. It is about ownership. It says, this is my life, and I have the power to choose differently. That realization is not heavy. It is freeing, because now your future is no longer at the mercy of your past. Now, change is not something you wait for. It is something you participate in. And once awareness takes root, transformation is no longer a mystery. It becomes a process. Comfort is the silent enemy of growth because it never attacks you loudly. It doesn't threaten you. It doesn't scare you. And it doesn't announce itself as danger. Comfort whispers. It tells you that what you're doing is good enough, that tomorrow will be a better time, that you don't need to push today because you've already survived so much. Comfort doesn't destroy your life in one moment. It slowly convinces you to stop reaching for more. And by the time you realize what it has cost you, years have passed and potential has been buried under familiarity. Nothing in nature grows in comfort. Muscles grow by resistance. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Even birth requires pain before life can emerge. Yet we expect our purpose to unfold without strain, without sacrifice, without discomfort. We pray for elevation while avoiding anything that stretches us. We ask for new levels while clinging to old routines. But growth demands friction. It demands the courage to step into spaces that challenge your identity, your habits, and your sense of control. Comfort keeps you loyal to what is familiar, even when what is familiar is no longer fruitful. It convinces you to stay in situations that drain you because at least you know what to expect. It keeps you replaying the same patterns because uncertainty feels scarier than stagnation. And so you settle not because you lack ability, but because you fear disruption. Comfort turns potential into excuses and dreams into someday. The danger of comfort is that it disguises itself as peace. But peace that costs you growth is not peace. It is avoidance. Real peace expands you. Real peace strengthens you. Comfort, on the other hand, dulls your hunger. It numbs your urgency. It makes you forget what it felt like to want more, to chase more, to believe for more. And when hunger dies, progress stops. There is a version of you that only exists on the other side of discomfort. A stronger voice, a sharper mind, a deeper discipline. But comfort will never introduce you to that version. It will keep you connected to who you were instead of who you are becoming. Growth requires you to outgrow spaces, people, and habits that once served you. And that outgrowing will feel lonely, awkward, and uncertain. But staying comfortable will cost you far more than leaving ever will. Every breakthrough you admire was born in discomfort. Every transformation you celebrate required someone to do what felt unnatural, inconvenient, and scary. Comfort tells you to wait until you feel ready. Growth demands that you move while you're still afraid. Comfort tells you to protect yourself. Growth asks you to stretch yourself. And the truth is, the life you want is not on the side of ease. It's on the side of courage. If you stay where it's easy, you will never discover how strong you really are. If you avoid discomfort, you will avoid destiny. Because growth doesn't ask for permission, and purpose doesn't negotiate with comfort. The moment you choose discomfort, you choose expansion. And once you expand, you can never return to who you used to be. Blame feels powerful at first because it gives you a place to put your pain without requiring you to change. It offers relief by pointing outward, by naming someone else as the reason your life stalled, your dreams slowed, or your heart broke. But what feels like protection slowly becomes a prison. Blame may explain how you were hurt, but it will never build the life you want. The moment you decide to live there, you hand over your power to the very thing you say harmed you. You cannot blame your way into a better future because blame keeps your hands empty. It leaves you waiting for someone else to fix what only you can rebuild. As long as the problem belongs to them, the solution does too. And that waiting is dangerous because life does not pause while you hold a grudge. Opportunities pass. Time moves, seasons shift, and you stay stuck hoping for an apology, a change, or a miracle that may never come. Blame keeps you focused on what happened instead of what is possible. It keeps your eyes in the rearview mirror while your future is calling from the front. You replay conversations, relive moments, and rehearse injustices, telling yourself you're seeking closure when in reality you're feeding a wound, and wounds that are constantly touched never heal. Healing begins when you decide that your future matters more than your resentment. This does not mean what happened to you didn't matter. It mattered, it hurt, it shaped you, but it does not get to define you. There is a difference between acknowledging pain and building a home inside it. Blame builds a home there. It furnishes the rooms with bitterness, anger, and self-pity, then wonders why joy never visits. You were not created to live in survival mode forever. At some point, survival must turn into responsibility. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is about reclaiming control. It is the moment you say, I may not have caused everything that happened to me, but I will decide what happens next. That statement shifts the weight from the past to the present. It moves you from victim to participant, and participation is where power lies. When you stop blaming, you stop bleeding energy into yesterday and start investing it into tomorrow. Blame also distorts your vision. It convinces you that everyone else is the problem, so you never examine your patterns, your reactions, or your boundaries. And because those patterns remain unchecked, the same pain keeps showing up in different forms, different faces, same lesson, different places, same outcome. Not because the world is against you, but because growth requires reflection and blame refuses to look inward. The moment you release blame, you don't excuse what happened. You outgrow it. You decide that your life is too valuable to be controlled by someone else's actions. You choose progress over proof, healing over history, and purpose over pride. And in that choice, something shifts. Your shoulders feel lighter, your vision gets clearer, your future opens up. Because the truth is simple and unmovable, you cannot blame your way forward. You can only take responsibility and walk. Your habits are speaking long before your words ever do. You can say you want more, pray for more, and dream about more, but what you do every day reveals what you truly believe. Habits are the language of your priorities. They expose what matters to you when no one is watching. And that is why no amount of prayer can override patterns that remain unchanged. Prayer invites possibility, but habits determine direction. Many people are sincere in their faith, but inconsistent in their discipline. They ask God to open doors while waking up late. They ask for clarity while filling their minds with noise. They ask for strength while feeding their weaknesses. And then they wonder why nothing is shifting. It's not that God is silent. It's that your routine is louder. Your habits are casting the deciding vote in the life you are building. Every habit is a seed, and seeds don't lie. You don't plant one thing and harvest another. If your days are filled with distraction, procrastination, and avoidance, you will reap confusion, delay, and frustration. If your days are filled with intention, focus, and effort, you will reap growth, momentum, and clarity. The harvest is not mysterious. It is predictable. What confuses people is that the results come later while the habits happen now. Habits shape your character quietly. No announcement, no spotlight, just repetition. And repetition is powerful. What you repeat becomes who you are. That's why change feels hard, not because you lack willpower, but because habits have trained your nervous system to resist disruption. They have become familiar, comfortable, and automatic. But automatic doesn't mean permanent. It just means you've been practicing the wrong thing. You cannot pray away what you practice daily. If you practice fear, doubt will grow. If you practice discipline, confidence will rise. If you practice avoidance, opportunities will shrink. Your habits are not neutral. They are either reinforcing the life you want or resisting it. And every day they are choosing for you. That's why breakthrough often feels spiritual, but it is built practically. Miracles may be instant, but progress is usually procedural. There is nothing wrong with praying for change. Prayer aligns your heart, but habits align your life. Prayer can inspire you to move, but habits decide whether you actually do. And when your habits are out of alignment with your prayers, frustration follows. You feel stuck, tired, and confused because your spirit is asking for one thing while your behavior is producing another. The powerful truth is that habits don't require motivation. They require decision. Motivation comes and goes, but habits remain. And once you begin to align your daily actions with your deepest desires, something shifts. You stop begging for change and start building it. Your confidence grows because your actions back up your faith. Your peace increases because your life is no longer contradicting your prayers. When your habits change, your prayers gain momentum. Your effort meets your faith. And the life you've been asking for starts recognizing you, not because you asked louder, but because you showed up differently. Change never begins on the outside. It always starts on the inside. Long before your circumstances shift, something in your thinking must move. Long before doors open, your mindset must open. Many people are waiting for life to change them, not realizing that life is responding to who they are becoming internally. The external world is often just a mirror reflecting beliefs, attitudes, and expectations that have been quietly shaping decisions for years. If you try to change your environment without changing your mind, you will eventually recreate the same problems in a new place. New job, same frustration. New relationship, same patterns. New season, same struggles. That's because the root was never the situation, it was the perspective. Until the internal narrative shifts, the external story will repeat. You can move locations, change people, and switch routines, but if the mindset remains the same, the outcome will too. Your mind is the command center of your life. It interprets experiences, assigns meaning, and decides how you respond. Two people can face the same challenge and walk away with completely different futures, not because the challenge was different, but because their internal posture was different. One sees defeat, the other sees development. One retreats, the other rises. The difference is not circumstance, it is interpretation. Internal change requires honesty. It asks you to confront limiting beliefs you've been carrying like truth. Beliefs about your worth, your ability, your past, and your future. Some of those beliefs were formed in moments of pain, rejection, or failure, and you've been living from them ever since. They were never facts, but repetition turned them into reality. And now they sit quietly in the background, influencing choices, shrinking courage, and setting invisible ceilings on your life. When your mindset begins to shift, your reactions change before your situation does. What once triggered you no longer controls you. What once intimidated you no longer defines you. You respond with intention instead of impulse. That internal shift is powerful because it gives you stability before success and strength before relief. It prepares you to handle the very change you've been asking for. External change without internal maturity can be dangerous. It can elevate you before you are ready to sustain it. But when the inside is transformed first, the outside follows in alignment. Opportunities feel different. Challenges feel manageable. Pressure no longer breaks you because you have already been reinforced from within. Internal change is often invisible to others, but it is undeniable in its results. It shows up in your confidence, your boundaries, your discipline, and your peace. You stop seeking validation and start walking in clarity. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. And slowly, almost quietly, your circumstances begin to adjust to match the new internal standard you've set. When the inside shifts, the outside has no choice but to respond, because life doesn't reward who you pretend to be. It responds to who you consistently are. And once your inner world changes, your outer world can no longer stay the same. When you change, everything around you is forced to respond, because life always adjusts to the version of you that shows up. The world does not react to your intentions, it reacts to your identity. The moment you rise internally, your environment can no longer treat you the same way. Some doors will open effortlessly, some relationships will shift uncomfortably, and some connections will fall away entirely. Not because you became arrogant, but because you became different. Change disrupts familiarity. People who were comfortable with the old version of you may struggle with the new one. They were fine when you were accessible, agreeable, and predictable. But growth introduces boundaries, standards, and self-respect, and not everyone will know how to relate to that. Some will celebrate you, others will resist you. Both reactions are confirmations that change has taken place. When you change, conversations change, opportunities change, expectations change. You stop being overlooked because you no longer overlook yourself. You stop being undervalued because you no longer accept less than you deserve. Life begins to mirror your internal upgrade. The same spaces that once ignored you now notice you. The same challenges that once intimidated you now sharpen you. Not because the world suddenly became kinder, but because you became stronger. Your change also exposes misalignment. Relationships that were built on convenience, dependency, or insecurity start to strain. You realize that some connections only survived because you stayed small. When you grow, those structures weaken, and that loss can feel painful, but it is necessary. Growth always requires separation. Not everyone can go where you are going because not everyone is willing to become who you are becoming. Opportunities respond to change as well. When you elevate your discipline, your focus, and your confidence, access increases. People trust you with more because you carry yourself differently. You speak with clarity. You move with purpose. You make decisions with conviction. And life responds to that alignment by expanding your reach. Promotion is not just about skill. It is about readiness. And readiness is visible. Even resistance is a response to change. When you grow, you may face criticism, doubt, or pushback, but that resistance is proof that you are no longer invisible. You are disrupting old expectations. You are challenging assumptions. And while that may feel uncomfortable, it is a sign that your presence has weight. Stagnation is quiet. Growth makes noise. The most powerful response comes from within. As you change, your confidence deepens, not because everything is perfect, but because you trust yourself to adapt. You stop fearing outcomes because you know you can handle them. That internal assurance reshapes how you walk into rooms, how you speak up, and how you pursue purpose. And the world responds to certainty. When you change, life has no option but to adjust. New doors appear, old doors close. New people recognize you. Old patterns lose their grip. The shift may feel disorienting at first, but it is evidence of movement. Because the truth is simple, the world cannot stay the same when you refuse to be the same. Let me leave you with this. Your life is not stuck because of where you are. It's stuck because of who you've been willing to remain. But tonight, that ends. You don't need another sign, another prophecy, another excuse. You need a decision. The moment you change, heaven responds, doors shift, chains fall, and the future starts recognizing you. Stop waiting on life. Life is waiting on you. Stand up in your spirit, straighten your crown, and declare it with authority. My life won't change unless I do. And I'm changing now.